everybody, and welcome to the third episode of the Both These Guys podcast. My name is Richard.
I'm Mark.
And we have got a packed show this week. We're looking at WWE Extreme Rules, the finals of the Best of the Super Junior tournament, and PWG from March, I think. Was it March?
It was March, yeah. Nice boys don't play rock and roll.
No, I had heard that. How was your wrestling week?
It's been good. Best of the Super Juniors, I thought, had an excellent finish to it.
Mm-hmm.
Extreme Rules was a mixed bag.
Mm.
Seen a little bit of Raw from last night, so it's Tuesday as we're recording this, and that seemed a good episode as well.
Yeah, it seemed much better than it has been in recent weeks, didn't it?
Yeah, it had a lot of really good segments on there.
Which we will get to in due course.
How about your wrestling week?
Yeah, good. Enjoyed the shows this week, with a few notable exceptions. There's some very good stuff. Yeah, it's been a good week, although a busy weekend getting the Extreme Rules show watched over the last couple of days.
Yeah.
And on the back of what was a busy weekend for us away at the Champions League final, which was rather ace. Not wrestling, admittedly, but football.
It was pretty good.
It was pretty tremendous. So, on Sunday evening, we had the Extreme Rules pay-per-view from Baltimore in Maryland. This certainly was a show, wasn't it?
This was the mixed bag.
Yes.
It was a one-match show, it was always going to be.
It was, because obviously the fatal five-way for the number one contendership was always going to be the headline-grabbing match. I had high hopes for the cage match as well, the Hardys and Sheamus and Cesaro. I thought that could be good fun.
You were the one.
Even though it's a tag match in a cage, which was always odd.
Yeah.
But we opened out the show with Dean Ambrose versus The Miz for the Intercontinental Championship. Dean could lose the belt if he got DQ'd in the most unextreme match of all time. I thought this was good. Miz won with the skull-crushing finale. It was a good match. It feels like they've been feuding forever.
That's the thing, yeah. We had a superstar shake-up where two superstars were moved on to another brand and immediately started feuding. So,
in the continuation of a feud that had gone on forever on SmackDown as well.
Yeah, it really had, yeah. It was a decent match. They work well together, that they have done for the last year or so. The Miz is a much better champion than Ambrose is.
Yes, absolutely. Ambrose, I know everyone says after he won the World Championship last year that he's been coasting and all the rest of it. And he has to a degree, hasn't he? But you can only work with what you're given, I suppose, and they've given him some absolute crap to do. This was fine. Just the booking of everybody in the finish looked incredibly stupid. Nobody came out of this looking good, apart from Maurice, but she always looks good.
Yeah, you're right. Everybody, including the referee, just seemed an absolute dumbass.
Yeah, Miz, they had a back and forth match, didn't they, for 9-10 minutes or so. Yeah. And then Miz decided that he wanted to get Maurice involved, got him to slap her in the face so that Dean Ambrose would get DQ'd. The referee instead throws Maurice out. The ref did do the good throw to the back gesture, which always gets a good reaction.
Yeah, it's a good run up and then a point to the back.
It was a good one. She was sent to the back. Yeah, then there was a distraction finish to an extent. Miz threw Dean Ambrose into the referee. The referee was going to DQ Ambrose, and then instead Miz hit him with the skull-crushing finale, which was stupid. The referee was like an idiot. Because what if he kicked out?
So? You play to the whistle.
Yeah, but the referee's about to DQ Dean Ambrose and he's about to win the belt.
How do you know he's going to DQ him? He's walking around the other side and he's looking a bit unhappy at Dean Ambrose.
And he's gesturing towards the timekeeper. He's about to ring the bell.
He's not said to him, ring the bell.
You know he's about to DQ him.
No, I don't.
It was stupid. It made Miz look stupid.
We've been to watch football this weekend. The football analogy, you play to the whistle. Until the referee rings that bell and calls for the disqualification, you've got to carry on as normal. Dean's stupid for being distracted.
But everyone's distracted in this company. Everyone's distracted by everything in this company. It made Dean look stupid, it made Miz look stupid, and it made the ref look stupid.
Didn't make Miz look stupid.
Well, Miz got his hand raised and he got the belt in the end, which is the only important thing in the end. But
the whole thing about it was Miz's desperation to try and play on the stipulation. Ambrose at the beginning when he was grabbing the chair and Miz trying to play like he'd been hit with it and get the ref to DQ him, trying to get Maurice involved, which was always going to happen at some point.
But surely, if you're in, once you get that stipulation that Ambrose can lose the belt if he gets DQ'd, surely that's the natural finish. Surely you have to do that.
What?
Because you're telling people that's what the finish is going to be, aren't you? Really, that Ambrose is going to get DQ'd.
Well, right, Ambrose has come across as stupid in this match anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're telling people that this is a stipulation and I'm going to try and do this, Ambrose should be intentionally looking for that and avoiding any opportunity.
But he didn't. He picked up the chair like a minute into
But
the
he didn't
match.
hit him.
No, but if he knows that he can lose the belt on a DQ, I know he's the lunatic fringe and he's wacky and all the rest of it, but he gets the chair. The referee could have disqualified him at that point, but instead took it off him. Just Dean came across like a dickhead to me.
But you had the same match a couple of years ago when Christian fought Randy Orton for the world title, which I think they mentioned it on Extreme Rules, which is Money in the Bank.
Yes. Which was
same stipulation.
It was.
Which Christian ended up winning from a low blow from Randy Orton.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have people complain that it's the same finish as before.
But that's what you're telling the audience, that's what's coming. I think you're signposting to people that that's what the finish of the match is going to be. And then when it's a clean, essentially a clean pinfall, it just came across as an odd finish to me. It made everybody
You're
look
going to get
daft.
people complain that it's predictable then?
But sometimes it's okay to be predictable, isn't it?
It is, but I don't think this is an instance where it really matters, or it's like, I'm telling you that this is what's going to happen, so it's going to happen and you're going to love it anyway. It's just something that was a bit different.
I suppose, and having watched Raw the next day, this feud is continuing still, yet more stuff. The segment on Raw with the Miz and Maurice championship celebration, that was really, really good. That was good stuff.
It was. Do you think we'll get a rematch at the next pay-per-view?
I would have thought so, yes. And please say the next pay-per-view's name.
Great Balls of Fire.
WWE Great Balls of Fire, please. This is going to be so great. 5 weeks. I cannot wait to hear them say this over and over and over again. It is the worst, best name for a pay-per-view ever.
It's awful. It should be a tagline for a pay-per-view.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
Backlash, Great Balls of Fire, or Roadblock, Great Balls of Fire, that kind of thing.
Absolutely, it should, but I'm
it's not.
I'm really excited that it isn't. And they've got the symbol, which is a dick and two balls, isn't it?
It is, unless they change it before.
Unless they change it.
They suddenly get people realising, or...
The Rocket League people who are sponsoring the pay-per-view say, no,
Yeah.
we're not having a giant dick on our adverts.
Or YouTube won't promote it because of the...
Well, yeah, inappropriate content.
Yeah.
Can't be doing that. But I thought this was good to the extent that it was a match that they've obviously done hundreds of times before, and they both work well together. The Miz Maurice act is so fantastically great.
It really is, yeah. Yeah, I think since she came back the day after Mania last year, I think it's just been transformed.
But please don't break them up, as they hinted that they might do on the
She
title
wasn't very happy
celebration.
that he was dropping elbows on the grandfather clock, was she?
No, and he was channeling his inner Ric Flair. I know Flair gave him the figure four, didn't he, a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
Maybe he gave him the elbow drops too. Great stuff.
He could have put the figure 4 on the grandfather clock.
There's still time. They might do that on next week's show.
Yeah,
There's still time. After that match, we went backstage for a Bayley interview segment with the crowd booing her tremendously. Bayley watched Wonder Woman over the weekend and was inspired by it, apparently.
Yeah, she was watching old Tommy Dreamer, Sandman, and even some Steve Blackman matches.
Yes, to absolutely no reaction from the crowd.
No, but it wasn't those. It was Wonder Woman that inspired her.
Because we've got to get those pop culture references in, haven't we? And the crowd booed her tremendously, which was a bit of foreshadowing for what was to come. But before that, we had Rich Swann and Sasha Banks versus Alicia Fox and Noam Dar.
Yeah.
Rich Swann in his hometown.
And he won.
Yeah, he won. I'm guessing Vince thought he was shouting, or didn't really know where he was from. We know Vince has previous with this stuff.
Yeah.
I thought this was fine. Swann won with Phoenix Splash. It was a good match. I like the fact that Sasha and Rich Swann had the same colour gear. They look like a proper tag team.
It's always odd mixed tags, though, intergender tags, because when one person tags, you have to get the opposite member of the team, and it always slows it down a little bit.
Yeah, it kills the heat a little bit as well, doesn't it?
So I think for what it was, 5 or 6 minutes, and yeah, it was fine. It's anything to get some cruiserweights on the show is nice.
Absolutely. And then we had arguably the second best thing on the whole show for me, which was Rich Swann and Sasha Banks dancing. That was so great. They were happy, the crowd were happy. I loved that.
It was. They was dancing on 205 Live last week as well, and Sasha refused to do the splits, which people was very unhappy about.
I can't imagine.
Yeah.
But I thought this was good. A bit of dancing, you can't go wrong.
When you said the second best thing on the show, I thought you was going to mention the next in-ring segment.
Deep heaving sighs all round. It's Bayley versus Alexa.
No, before that you've missed something.
Have I?
The Drifter.
Oh, the fucking Drifter. You're right. The Drifter was on next, and I skipped through it immediately.
The Drifter was great.
I will not watch the Drifter. Sorry, he's not the Drifter now. It's Elias Sampson.
He was great.
See, the segment came on. Tremendous booing. This is the wrong kind of heat, isn't it? This isn't boo, you're a heel, we hate you and we want someone to beat you up heat. This is please go away, we're not interested heat. Isn't it?
I think the initial booing is we hate you, and then when the song just goes on into its like 93rd hour, it's like shut up now.
Please go away.
Yeah, but it was they had time to kill.
They certainly did.
It was a. Okay, I'm no fan of the Drifter, but it was a good segment, and I'd rather see him do that than get in the ring.
But the thing, he's got a good look. Everything about him, his physique, the hair, everything about him looks like he should be a star. I know Hunter likes him as well and all that business, but this character does not work. It has to go. It's terrible. I hate it.
They've brought him up with this character, so they're going to stick with it. Before he was just Elias Sampson, before he was a Drifter, with that you could tell, and they decided to repackage him.
I suppose it's not working, is it? I don't think.
Hey, he got a lot more heat than most people.
I suppose, but like I say, I know it doesn't really matter what kind of heat it is. To an extent, people are booing, and that's the reaction they want to that character. And you could make an argument that he's the best heel they brought up from NXT in that respect, because people boo him and they're supposed to.
Yeah.
But I just can't watch him. I cannot watch him. It's terrible. Which led us into Bayley versus Alexa for the Women's Championship on Raw.
Speaking of terrible,
we had the big in-ring intros. Alexa comes out wearing the belt like a champion, which I enjoyed. Bayley comes out, she came out first like a challenger, like she should do.
Yeah.
Massive boos as she comes out. Bayley looks very sad in the ring.
Yeah.
Because she knew what was coming.
She didn't even bother getting all the wacky inflatable arm guys up.
No, she didn't.
A couple of those,
which is
just like
very sad.
Yeah.
So we had the opening match. If we don't know, it's a kendo stick on a pole. The stick is in the corner above the ring post. Alexa invites Bayley to go and get the stick because she doesn't think she can do anything about it. And Bayley, like an idiot, goes to get it, and Alexa jumps her and beats her up. They go up, they get the stick eventually, and Bayley gets attacked again. They drop the stick after about a minute. Both of them fall out of the ring and start selling like they've been in this arduous 10-minute match. They're both seemingly dead after about a minute, which is stupid. There's a suplex outside on the mats by Bayley. She gets the stick again. She chases Alexa, who runs away like a good heel. Chases her back into the ring, and Alexa is cornered. Bayley has the stick. And the story they are trying to tell you is that Bayley isn't hardcore enough to use a kendo stick, and that this is her giant weakness, and this is the reason that she's going to lose. She hesitates for maybe a millisecond, and Alexa hits her, gets the stick off her, and beats the shit out of Bayley with the stick. Bayley, trying to fight back, hits the Bayley to belly, but she can't capitalise obviously because she's been beaten up by the stick. Alexa sets the stick up in the corner, pushes Bayley headfirst into it, hits her with a DDT. 1, 2, 3, finished. That's it. I will read my notes verbatim. DDT, finish, that's it. Jesus wept. Bayley must be turning heel. She must be. Because what else do you do now? They have killed her. She's either turning heel, being repackaged, or they're sending her back to NXT.
I think they're going to make her find the love of a good man to inspire her.
Do you think?
That's what they're going to do.
Because that's the message you want to be sending to little girls, isn't it? That's what Izzy in the crowd's going to want to see.
Maybe her and Sasha are going to feud over Rich Swann or something like that.
This character is irredeemable. Unless you send her back to NXT and have her try and rediscover her passion and rediscover her fight.
NXT crowd will care anymore.
I don't know. Maybe you bring her back, and it's a homecoming, and she needs to get the crowd behind her again, and find her feet, and she can challenge Asuka for the belt and try and come back. Because I don't know what else you do apart from turn her heel.
No.
I was so annoyed about this. I know we spoke about it on the podcast previously of what a number they have done on Bayley since she's been up on the main roster. And I was just flabbergasted watching this.
Well, the stupidest thing about it is that Bayley requested this stipulation.
Yep.
Kurt Angle was just going to have it as a regular one-on-one and said, no, that's what it's going to be because I don't think you've got it in you or whatever it was, to have anything, an Extreme Rule stipulation.
Mm-hmm.
And she insisted on this.
Yep.
And yet, when she had the opportunity, she couldn't do it, even with all the inspiration.
But that's not the story they told in the match, though, either, is it? She got the stick, and then the better woman got it off her, beat her up, and beat her. I just... You think back to the Bayley character on NXT. I know you can't tell that same story because she can't revert back to the original character, which was essentially a fan who happened to be a wrestler, with the hugging everybody and all the rest of it. But the journey that Bayley character went on, from, like I say, a fan to the culmination of winning the title at Brooklyn, at TakeOver Brooklyn, when she beat Sasha for the belt, when she came across as a mega star, had the best match arguably of the whole weekend.
Yes.
She had the huge reaction. She had a mom in the crowd. The other 4 horsewomen came out. They all celebrated. Bayley was one of the biggest stars in the entire company, irrespective of how many people watch NXT and all the rest of it. She was a mega star, a license to print money if you handle her character correctly on the main roster, and they have murdered her.
I don't know what it is. Maybe they just think that she's untouchable and they can just use her to get other people over. I don't know, but it's just like one of the biggest babyface commodities that they've got as an entire company.
Yep.
Not just in the women's division, the whole company, and one of the biggest that they've had in years. And they're managing to get people to boo her.
She was kind of like the female John Cena character, wasn't she? But one that everyone liked.
She was the one person who everybody, no matter what type of fan you are, whether you're a kid, whether you're a parent, whether you're a smark, whatever it is, everybody loved her.
Yeah, we went to see on the first NXT UK tour. We went to go and see the Sheffield show, didn't we?
Yeah.
And Bayley was on that card, and she came out, and the reaction she got was insane.
Yeah.
The NXT crowd kind of skews a little bit like an indie crowd, doesn't it? Over here,
It does, yeah.
you get the old guys in the Bullet Club t-shirt and all the rest of it, and they were jumping up and down, singing along, clapping along to her song. They were so into everything she did, and it wasn't just the entrance or her hitting her big moves. They were invested in her matches. They wanted her to win.
She's the one person. Sorry to interrupt, but I said to you, I remember saying to you at the time. I'm not in the slightest. I'm bored of you. I was just so I remember saying to you at the time, when she come out, she made her entrance, and when I see her on TV, it just makes you smile.
Yep.
Every time you just get a big grin on your face. When she made a debut on Raw, when she won the NXT belt, you just can't help but smile, and because you just think that genuinely she is that character, and genuinely and maybe that's what it is. She's a wrestling fan, so they think, well, we can treat her how we want to treat her, and she don't care. She's a fan. She'll just stick around. Yeah, she's just happy to be here, and this was her dream all along, and all the rest of it. But it's just, I'm just baffled. I don't understand what their goal would be, unless it is, like you say, to just mess her about and see how much she puts up with. Yeah.
But it's just astonishing that you can take a character that, in this day and age, people like to see moves, don't they? They like to see the big spots everybody knows. Yeah. They like to see the entrances. They like to hear the music and all the rest of it. But when Bayley, particularly in the NXT version of Bayley, when she was being beaten up, people wanted her to come back. Yeah. They weren't trying to entertain themselves and do their own chants to get themselves over as they do at times. The audience was invested in the Bayley character. They wanted her to come back. They wanted her to beat up the heel. They wanted to see her win and high five people and hug people, and it was great. The relationship and the sort of connection that she had with the Sasha Banks heel character, the back and forth that they had, it was perfect. They had the dynamic down exactly the way they needed it, and I just do not understand. But she's done. This Bayley character is dead. You cannot recover this.
The only thing that I think you can equate it to in recent times is the Daniel Bryan character, where it was just someone who was so over, who would get people chanting for him in other people's matches, and they just didn't want to know. And I think maybe it's just the fact that they're trying to kill her like they did with Daniel Bryan, maybe trying to get her as low as possible to build her back up, thinking, well, it worked with him. Well,
they I think they've accomplished the first part of that task, because there's nowhere else she can go. There is no lower she can go.
Maybe, like you say, maybe send her back to NXT. They've got another show at Brooklyn coming up. Maybe have her against Asuka as the main event, because who else? Asuka's run through everyone else.
Yeah, absolutely. I imagine it will be Ember Moon, won't it, that we do get that show. But screw it, why not? Yeah. If you might be calling Asuka up, say after SummerSlam, if she drops the belt to Ember Moon. Cool. They need a female star on that roster. why not let it be Bayley?
Yeah.
Because what else are you going to do with her? Unless you cut her hair off and have her turn into like into an evil, villainous heel, and break the hearts of children everywhere, or at least Izzy, because she'd be the only one that I imagine that would care now. So the tone deafness of this company sometimes is astonishing. On Raw last night, and they did it on the pay-per-view as well. They acknowledged how terrible the segment was last week. The This Is Your Life segment with Alexa Bliss. Kurt Angle said it was one of the worst angles in Raw history.
Yeah.
They openly acknowledged the fact that it's terrible. So how do they not see? They can see that. So how do they not see what they have done to this Bayley character is insane? She was essentially squashed.
Yeah.
In like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
If that, she's done. You're done. Thank God for Alexa. The one woman character that they have on either of these rosters that's actually good and entertaining.
Yeah. I don't know. I always think there's going to be hope for Bayley just because she still has the demographic which they chasing.
Yeah.
So there's always the chance of pushing her, but how much longer she can sustain what's going on at the moment, I don't know.
No, well, we'll see. She wasn't on Raw either this week, telling the vicious beating that she had from Alexa in like 4 minutes. She wasn't on the show, which again I imagine is going to do wonders for her career. She looks like she's just taken a ball and gone home after being beaten in the match she chose.
Yeah.
After losing the belt in her hometown.
Yeah, I think it was mentioned on Raw that she was recuperating. So, I mean, there was plenty of people that wasn't on the show. I mean, Finn wasn't on the show. The Hardys wasn't on there. There wasn't any mention of those, even though they was in like tougher matches.
Yeah, absolutely. The Hardys, which we'll come to in a minute.
They made a point of stressing that she was recuperating.
The Hardys, which were in a lengthy tag team cage match with all kinds of diving off the top of cages and all the rest of it. That was a brutal match.
Yeah.
More so than being hit with a stick a few times in like 4 minutes.
Yeah.
So that does take us to the tag team titles match: the Hardys versus Sheamus and Cesaro in the cage. Matt's still doing a lot of the broken gestures.
He is, yes.
Still doing the arm thing and still doing the delete gesture, with no end in that sort of legal battle in sight.
What do you make of all that?
I think they're just going to get away with what they can to get away with what they can, aren't they? I imagine we're heading in the direction where eventually they will become broken. They've lost the belts now.
Yeah.
Presumably they'll lose the rematch with Matt taking a clonk to the head or something, and they become broken.
Yeah.
What did you think to this match?
It was good. All four guys in there know each other pretty well. I think the way that WWE book, I think it was kind of a foregone conclusion that Sheamus and Cesaro were going to win. They've lost everything in the last 3 or 4 weeks, all the singles matches, the tag team matches. Yeah, so I think you could see it coming. Again, another match where it made people seem just a little bit stupid.
Mm-hmm. Not using the door when they had every opportunity to use the door, Matt and Jeff in particular.
Not using the door. I mean, the stipulation, again, is a little bit silly. It's a tornado match, all 4 guys in the ring, but both guys need to be outside. So,
yeah, no pinfalls in this cage match. You escape the cage rules only.
Yeah, so again, I mean, why not let somebody escape and then beat up the other guy so much that he can't possibly escape, and then both of you can, which is virtually what happened in the end. Yeah, it was a good match. Because
Jeff escaped, didn't he? And then we kind of had a heat segment on Matt, sort of, but not really.
Sort of, yeah. I guess it was a heat segment, just not too long before Jeff decided he needed to get back in and help him. Why he didn't get back in for the door and help him, I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I was wondering that myself. I've written in my notes, why didn't he just use the door?
Yeah.
And then we had a race then for the finish for both guys trying to get out. Jeff did a senton from the top of the cage onto Sheamus and Cesaro.
And he'd come off far the worst on that because he couldn't get back up. He had to be dragged out the door while Sheamus and Cesaro managed to get back up and climb all the way.
Sheamus and Cesaro, new tag team champions.
Yeah.
Deserving. They're good. I like Sheamus and Cesaro.
They're a great team.
Sheamus didn't kill anyone, which is always nice.
He didn't, no.
Yeah, because he does have a little bit of previous with that. This match in particular, my network kept screwing up a lot. I had like 3 or 4 instances of the network being rubbish on this one. I had to keep quitting out and going back into it. Very annoying.
It happened to me intermittently throughout the whole show, which you don't really expect when you're not watching it live either, really, do you?
No, you think it's probably going to be fine. But yeah, it was... network problems notwithstanding, it was good. Jeff was whispering the wind from the top of the cage was cool, as we noted. Hardys looked sad, so did the crowd.
Yeah, they did, especially the half of the crowd who thought the Hardys had won, and it was only when
Yes.
it was announced. Yeah, because it was very tight. Matt pulling Jeff out and Sheamus and Cesaro dropping to the floor. So the half of the crowd that was on the Hardys side thought they had won. Very disappointed when the announcement was made over the
Indeed, they were.
over the mic.
There was a good reaction though for Sheamus and Cesaro getting the belts, which was good.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they're a great team.
Cesaro's really strong, isn't he? That when he held Jeff up off the top of the cage with that arm lock thing,
He's a strong boy.
that looked like it was bad news, but it was good stuff.
Yeah.
Hopefully the Hardys become broken, and that's all good. Which leads us to the cruiserweight championship match: Neville versus Austin Aries in a submission match. Why have they changed Aries' music? Austin Aries' music was good. This one is not.
To be honest, I didn't even notice.
It's just generic WWE music now.
I always thought his old one was pretty generic anyway, really. I was never hugely...
At least it was established, though. You
Yeah.
knew who it was when he came out. There was absolutely no reaction to this music at all.
There was no reaction to anything on this match.
No, the crowd could not have given less of a crap, could they, really?
I think they're just conditioned to know once they change the ropes to purple, that's the time when you go to the merch stand or
Yeah.
to the concessions or
Go to the loo.
or something like that.
Yeah.
They got away with it in the mixed tag because there was two Raw women on there.
Yep, and no purple ropes.
Yeah.
They went for lots of submissions early. Aries was going after a lot. They go outside. Aries threw Neville into the barricade, which looked like it was no fun, and dropped him face first on the ring apron. Hardest part of the ring, that.
If so, here.
Yeah.
David Atonga told us that quite a bit.
He did. Both guys hit dragon screws, which also looked quite uncomfortable. There was rope breaks in a submission match. Why?
Why wouldn't they be?
Because you can't be DQ'd.
So?
It's a submission
You can't.
match. Of course you can't. The only way to win is via submission.
Well, the only way to win the title is by submission.
But that's the only way to finish the match is a submission.
It's not.
Yes, it is.
It's not.
If they're in a submission match,
Yeah.
that implies that that's the only way to win.
So you can beat the crap out of them with chairs and that's okay?
I would have thought so.
I don't think so.
I just thought that was odd. We had a submission.
We should get the official rulebook.
We should. They actually have one.
They do.
Yeah, which is another thing in the opening match. Now you mentioned the official rulebook. The announcers, Michael Cole in particular, talking about how Dean Ambrose can't get DQ'd and neither can Miz, and both of them are hitting each other with closed fists, which could lead to a DQ. No, it can't. In your rulebook, that's not a DQ anymore.
I thought in the rulebook it said it was a DQ again.
Nope. In the rulebook, the closed fist punch is totally fine.
Okay.
But the announcers on this show are terrible, with the exception of Corey Graves, who's great. Aries smirked after the match, after he lost, which I thought was weird.
Yeah, he was sitting down by the apron and just, maniacally just laughing to himself.
And we've got a taping tonight. The 205 Live is taped tonight, isn't it? Tuesday?
Yes.
Yes. So whether there will be any movement on that, I'm not sure, but presumably Aries is breaking off now from Neville.
Well, Neville turned on TJP on Raw.
Yes.
So TJP maybe again will be flipping back to a face.
Oh,
Who
good.
knows? Which means there's another spot for a heel, so maybe that's where Aries goes.
Yeah, Aries is great as both. I
He is.
really like his heel stuff, but he was a very good babyface.
Yeah, he was.
So it'll be interesting to see where they go with that. But
Yeah, I'd imagine once... I can't see anything happening with Neville and TJP. I don't think TJP is over anywhere near.
but nobody
What he
is, are
was.
they? Really? I
I
mean,
think Tozawa's the one who'll get there.
do you think
Yeah, I do.
his stuff with Brian Kendrick has been really good?
It's great, yeah. And he's great. I think he'll be the one. Hopefully he doesn't join the Titus brand.
Fingers crossed. And that takes us to the main event of the show, the Fatal 5-Way: Samoa Joe versus Roman Reigns versus Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins versus Bray Wyatt. This was great.
This was very, very enjoyable.
It went 35 minutes, something like that, 29, 35,
Something like
in that
that,
neck of the
yeah.
woods. We figured that there would probably be another match added to the show, considering there was only 5 matches, but there wasn't. It was just
No.
a very, very long main event.
I'll tell you what I really enjoyed. I enjoyed the main event, but putting the pay-per-view on and seeing that it lasted for 2 hours 45.
Yes, I was quite pleased to see that too.
Yeah.
It was very brutal. It was very good. I like the opening with everybody pairing off and leaving Roman in the ring on his own, soaking up the hatred from the crowd, which was very good. If they ever decide to actually turn the dude heel, like properly full on heel, his heel smirky face is going to be the best thing in the world.
I don't see why you would turn him heel though.
No, Christ, no. At this point, there's absolutely no point, is there?
Because he's got the best of both worlds. He's getting all the heel heat, plus he's still selling a ton of merch to the kids.
Absolutely. Lots of dueling chants for Roman as normal. Big dual reaction to him, not just chanting. Lots of boos, lots of cheers. Yeah, keep him exactly where he is. He's, I'm sure his bank balance is doing very well out of all of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he looks like such a prick, so it's all good. It's fantastic. Samoa Joe and Bray Wyatt teamed up, formed an alliance for a while, beat the crap out of everybody, which was good fun. Yeah. Big Uranagi onto Roman Reigns on the table on the outside. That looked quite painful.
He did a little bit.
And Bray did a big bow to the crowd as they were chanting one more time, which was... not sure I'd want my heels doing that, to be honest, but what can you do? Yeah, it was all good in general. Lots of chairs, lots of dives. Seth hit a massive 5-star frog splash onto the tables. Was that onto Roman? I can't remember.
Yes, it was. I'm pretty sure it was, yeah.
Yes, it was. Yes, looking through my notes, it was. No, it was onto Joe.
Was it onto Joe?
And then we had Roman versus Seth in the ring after the spear, where Roman speared Joe and Bray through the barricade, which was good. Then we had Roman and Seth at the end. Lots and lots of camera cuts. Every now and again it hits me, and I can't not see it. And when Roman and Seth were going at it at the end, the camera cuts were just driving me insane.
You know what? I didn't notice it once on the whole show.
I didn't until then, and it was one after another after another after another.
Didn't even notice it then. I noticed it at the end when they was trying to get crowd reactions after the final results, but didn't notice it once in the whole show. Did anyone give an actual reaction?
It was not camera cuts to the audience. It was camera cuts from one angle of a punch to another angle of a punch to somebody falling over to just a bang, 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 bang. And it always knocks me a little bit sick. But I don't always notice it, if you know what I mean. And once I've seen it, I can't unsee it for 5 minutes or so.
No, I didn't notice it.
To finish the match, Finn hit the Sling Blade and the coup de grace on Roman. And then Joe zoomed in and hit the Coquina clutch onto Balor, choked him all the way out and blacked out. Which means Joe versus Brock at Great Balls of Fire.
At what?
WWE Great Balls of Fire. I am very excited about this match.
I am. It should be really good. I said last week that Joe was the one person I didn't really want to win it. Not because I don't like Joe, just because I think it's pretty much a case. The next pay-per-view for Raw after this will be SummerSlam. So I think it'll be pretty much a case of this will be a one and done with Brock and then move on, probably Strowman for SummerSlam.
If Strowman's back, you could do two. You could easily do two matches out of this.
You could. I hope so, and especially the way that it played off on Raw, which was fabulous.
Yes.
One of the best segments you'll see I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, the Paul Heyman and Joe had an in-ring promo off, which culminated in the Coquina clutch again, and Heyman being choked out. Every now and again, they do stuff off mic, and it always comes across really, really well, doesn't it? They did it a couple of years ago with Stephanie getting arrested for attacking whichever one of the Bellas is married to Daniel Bryan, and they did it off camera. Bella, yeah, that one. They did it kind of off camera and off mic, and it came across as really not real, but it came across as something completely different from what you normally see. And that segment was exactly the same. That was great.
It was.
I'm excited about this match. I just hope we get the match that we're all hoping we get. I want Godzilla versus King Kong.
Yeah,
essentially. I want Kaiju Big Battle, but with Brock.
No, you don't.
Oh, with Brock and Joe. I want little buildings, Japanese people running all over the place. That is what I want for this show.
Unicorns dancing around.
Less unicorns, just more big dudes beating each other up. But I want Brock to try. I don't just want this suplex bullshit.
Yeah.
I want an actual match between them.
Yeah. I hope so. If it's a squash match, then it just doesn't really do anyone any good. You can see what they're going for, and they're trying to get monsters for Brock. You've got, he's beat Goldberg, and now he's going to probably slay Joe, Braun.
Got to get Roman over at Mania again.
Well, that's the thing, which I think is probably why Joe won rather than Finn or Seth, because it's that story of slaying all the monsters before he gets slain by Roman.
Well, yeah, Roman's got to win the belt for the fifth time or whatever it will be at Mania.
Absolutely. And this year, Money in the Bank is SmackDown exclusive, so no one's going to be cashing in on Mania next year.
Yay.
Yeah.
See, at this stage, Roman doesn't need the belt, does he? He absolutely does not need the belt.
Does Brock?
No, not really.
Brock's the one person who shouldn't be having it because it's not on TV.
But at the same time, whoever does end up beating him should, if it's not Roman, get a massive push out of it.
Yeah.
But Roman doesn't need to be that dude.
No.
Just leave Roman where he is. You can bring him back into winning the belt every now and again. Just keep him strong, keep him getting the reaction that he's getting, keep him having these great matches. The match that he had with Bray on Raw, opening the show on Raw on Monday night, really, really good. That was a very strong match. Went very long through 2 commercial breaks, with Roman winning with the Superman punch and then the spear. Really good stuff. Just keep him strong, keep him there, keep him in the picture, but he doesn't need the belt.
No.
But he's going to get it.
He's going to get it. He's going to have another of those moments.
Yeah, which is like the 5th Mania in a row, 4th Mania in a row,
Something like that.
Something like that.
Well, to be fair, the main event of Mania should be the most over guys, and he is.
Yeah,
most over
absolutely.
guy,
Absolutely, he is.
So I don't think you can really argue about it. How it goes about, whether he wins the Rumble again,
Why not? Absolutely, why not? Yeah, it was a good show to an extent. I was so annoyed about the Bailey stuff that by the end, because of that main event, it just kind of take the bad taste away a little bit.
That's the same thing. It reminded me very much of one of the old Attitude era pay-per-views where it was just like much of a muchness going through to the main event, and the main event was great, and that's what kind of the memories that you took away was that. So it made you think it was a better pay-per-view than it was.
Absolutely.
The main event was tremendous. The rest of it,
fine.
Yeah.
And it rolls on, as they say, to the Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view. WWE, Great Balls of Fire. And hopefully we get something with Goldust and Truth. They both had another segment on Raw this week, which were both really, really good.
Especially Goldust.
Yes, Goldust is coming across as a megastar in these segments.
Yeah.
Just bring back the wig. That's all I'm asking. Just please bring back the wig. That's all he needs. So there you go. Good show. Fine.
Yeah.
Bit of a change of pace after that, which we are getting used to at this point. We had PWG. Nice Boys Don't Play Rock and Roll.
Absolutely, they don't. From
March. What did you think of the show overall before we get into the match by match breakdown?
I really liked it. I'm a big PWG fan anyway. I think it is what it is. It's perfect for that crowd in that setting. They know exactly the crowd that they're going to play to. They're 2-hour shows, which is perfect.
Yes.
At the event, obviously, it's going to be a little bit better because you've got the crowd, the entrances and that kind of thing, which they don't show on the DVD, so they cut all that. So
which is fine. I don't mind not sitting through the entrances.
No, but it's nice when you hear the theme come on, and obviously they can't play because it's licensed music for a lot of it. But that helps. I quite like that anyway. ECW would have been nothing without those entrances.
Yeah, true enough.
But I really enjoyed it. I don't think there was anything on there that was terrible. Some of them were quite formulaic and I suppose indie-rific, but
yes.
But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think there was a couple of matches which were great, really enjoyable. Things with PWG, the DVDs don't come out for 2 months after the event, so yeah, don't know what's really. I haven't seen the spoilers for the next one, but it's set up a title match for there, so we'll see what happens. Have you seen much PWG before?
I've seen bits and bobs. I've seen stuff with you before that we've watched.
Yeah, we watched some Boulder, didn't we?
But it's not something that I actively search out a lot of the time. Although on the strength of this, I probably will try and seek out more of it. Because, like you say, with it only being a 2-hour show, it's not something that you have to dedicate a huge amount of time to. It flows really nicely. Yeah. And as with a lot of the indie stuff, it's not all the same.
That's the thing, and it's such an easy watch at 2 hours, and because you don't have to worry too much with apart from one match on this, you haven't really got to worry about any angles and keeping up with that, so you can kind of watch it as and when you want. You don't have to watch it all in one whole show. You can watch a match a day and you'll be fine, because you've got 2 months till the next DVD's out anyway. So.
It had the feel for me of a takeover because of the length of it. It's got that. You find yourself getting into it, and then suddenly you've got, Christ, there's only 2 matches left to go, kind of thing. It's not like you've got to sit through this tag, and then you've got to sit through this, and then like the WWE, some of the WWE shows can be that way. Obviously, WrestleMania goes on for 2 or 3 days nowadays.
Yeah.
Whereas these shows are 2 hours and done. Opening match: Brian Cage versus Keith Lee versus Sami Callihan. Callihan was supposed to face Adam Cole, but Cole is injured, so Sami Callihan inserted himself into Brian Cage and Keith Lee.
Look at him.
I thought this was really, really good.
How much do you love Keith Lee?
Keith Lee is fantastic.
It's great, isn't it?
He's a big lad. And Brian Cage, how he's not in WWE given his size and his athleticism.
Wasn't he?
Yes, I know he's been on Lucha Underground for a couple of seasons. He's the kind of dude that I imagine Vince would go crazy for.
Yeah.
He can do stuff. He's big.
He does too much.
He does do too much. He does do too much. He doesn't wrestle like a big dude, does he?
No.
We had lots of dives, lots of general all-round wackiness. Sami Callihan is so much better off away from WWE. His character in the NXT shows was rubbish in that he didn't really have much of a character. He just looked like a troll, which was apparently the extent of his character. I thought this was really, really good.
It was good. It was really good fun. I would have liked to have seen it, obviously, because of Adam Cole's injury. Sammy was in there. I would have liked to have seen Brian Cage against Keith Lee. I think that would have been a great hoss battle.
Yeah, big lads fighting and all that, as they say. Brian Cage got the win with the Falcon Arrow. It was something else.
Yeah, he did a spot where he suplexed. He did a superplex from the apron on Keith Lee. Who was just standing on the apron.
Yep.
And superplexed him into the ring, which was just crazy. Keith Lee chewing gum all the way through, even when he was thrown into a load of chairs at ringside and almost passed out. He was still chewing his gum.
Yes.
Ultimate cool dude. It was great. I loved it.
As they do on all of these indie shows nowadays, lots of people getting thrown into chairs. That popped up quite a lot. But this was great. It was a very good opener. Set the tone for the show. The best Sami Callihan I've ever seen.
He was really good, yeah.
Even though he did look a little bit like the Sanity Eric Young. I could do without that look, but yeah, no, this was really, really good. Maybe he will.
When Damo turns.
Anyway, then the second match was OI4K, formerly Irish Airborne apparently, versus the Chosen Bros, Matt Riddle and Jeff Cobb. This, again, was great.
It was really good, yeah. OI4K look the indiest of dudes you'll ever come across. It's the stereotypical image that you have in your head.
Yeah, one looks like Ed Sheeran.
Yes, definitely.
A one-armed hoodie type thing.
Yes.
Kind of look a little bit like Tai Chi's gear from New Japan.
A little bit, yeah. We didn't see the entrance, so we didn't see if he was singing his own.
That's true. And you see if he ripped his trousers off.
Yeah, the first half of this, where it was very much cutting off the ring and just wrestling in your own half for OI4K. So quite slow paced, almost very old school. And then the second half, when it kicked up a gear and they was more aerial and a lot more impressive moves, and it was being a little more attacking, I thought it really kicked into gear. It was great, the way it built up. Unfamiliar with OI4K. I think I remember seeing them in Ring of Honor years ago when they was Irish Airborne, but yeah, really impressive with this one.
Yeah, bumped around like crazy for Matt Riddle and for Jeff Cobb as well, which is good. The Bro to Sleep, which we got, there was lots and lots of stuff. Matt Riddle is so good.
Yeah.
2 years in the business. I know we said this last week. 2 years in the business. It's insane how good he is.
Yeah.
And Jeff Cobb, what can you say about Jeff Cobb? He's great.
He's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, could watch him all day long. He's fabulous.
I'm guessing Jeff Cobb will do big things in the next couple of years.
I would hope so. I saw an interview with him last week where he was saying he had a trial with WWE, but they told him at the time he needs to get bigger. I think at the time he said he was around 210, 215 pound.
Well, he certainly did that, didn't he?
He certainly got bigger. Yeah. So who knows?
A good wacky tag team, a wacky indie tag team they were, weren't they?
Yeah. I suppose you've got the issue you've got is with Lucha Underground, because they've got that some weird deal.
7-year deal, is it, or something like that?
Something like that, and they can't appear for anyone else on TV 18 months after leaving their deal or something like that. Well, that's what it reported anyway. So, although he was in a mask, so who's to say?
And then we had Leo Rush versus Trevor Lee.
Yeah.
What did you think to this?
I thought it was great. Trevor Lee is the one character on PWG shows who likes being a heel.
Yes.
Getting introduced as TNA superstar and X Division champion.
Yes.
I think he's really good. He's always, every time I see him, he's so much better PWG or elsewhere than he is in TNA as well.
But no one ever
more than
gets
5 minutes.
no one gets a reaction, do they, in TNA?
No.
I was watching TNA just come on Spike TV in the UK. I was watching it the other day as a segment with EC3, and absolutely nobody is reacting to anything. It goes on for a while. Alberto Del Rio comes out, no reaction. It's just a vacuum. I don't understand TNA. And you've got somebody like Trevor Lee, like you said. It's a good heel move being announced as being a TNA superstar and the greatest X Division champion of all time, or whatever it was that they said. But he does come across as an actual heel, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. And Leo Rush is fantastic. I love him. He's one of the most entertaining guys out there at the moment. Everything he does I think is tremendous. Yeah,
and he won with an inside cradle. It was really good.
The Irish whip spot into the turnbuckle was the best Irish whip into the turnbuckle spot I've ever seen. It was fabulous. He got whipped into the turnbuckle, and as he jumped to the turnbuckle, he kind of jumped out the ring.
Mm-hmm.
So he went between the second and third ropes. So his back still slammed into the turnbuckle, but he fell outside as well.
Yes.
And he had to get helped back in by a fan.
Yes.
Otherwise he would have been counted out. It was fabulous.
And the crowd went crazy for that, didn't they, as well, which was always good.
Yeah. But the whole match, the usual Leo Rush where he plays the underdog, because he's much smaller, even though Trevor Lee's not big himself.
No.
But yeah, he does it so well.
I mean, that's the one thing with Leo Rush. We saw him live last year, didn't we, at the ROH show. Yeah. And watching him, even on a show like PWG, he's that small. It can look a little bit hard to believe at times.
Yeah.
Again, it comes back to the things like Carmella in WWE.
Yeah.
Just the size differentiation is such that you find it hard to believe.
Yeah.
But he's so athletic that you can kind of look beyond that.
And he's so over. When I saw him in Wolverhampton a couple of months ago, three-way with him, Sammy Callahan and Shane Strickland.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the first time he'd worked for the promotion, and Strickland and Callahan had both worked there previously, and he was the one that was over out of all of them. Everyone was just chanting his name. They loved him, even before he'd done anything, which is crazy considering he'd been in ROH and that's it. I mean, this was only his second PWG show, so he hadn't been there. I mean, he might have done an Evolve show by then, but yeah, he's fabulous. Yeah,
and like I said, the crowd were massively invested in him as well, which is always nice.
Yeah.
Then we had Desmond Xavier versus Shane Strickland. We saw Desmond Xavier at the Lucha Forever show, which neither of us realised that this was the same dude, did we? And I fell asleep during this match.
It was that good, wasn't it?
It was. In my defence, I was knackered. We had just driven back from Bristol after watching the Champions League final. This was the only match I fell asleep for, and woke up at the finish, so I missed basically the whole thing. I remember Shane Strickland standing in the ring, and then it was over.
Yeah, it went for about 10 minutes. To be honest, if you're going to fall asleep through any of them, this was the one.
Yes.
It was fine. It was both guys making their debuts. Strickland was very over. They know who he was. Desmond Xavier is a CZW guy. I think a few of the guys would have known who he was in the crowd. Lots of I'm more athletic than you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do a cartwheel. I'm going to do a somersault to escape this.
Vader would have been having a nightmare watching this.
Oh, he would have hated it.
As would Randy. Randy would not have liked this. He would not have liked this show in general.
He'd have had sore thumbs from all of his tweets. He would, Randy. One really, really bad botch spot. Which
yes, you showed me this before we recorded the show.
Yeah, Desmond Xavier does a Rana on Strickland, and he kind of misses his chance to somersault out of it or cartwheel out of it. He hesitates, and then by the time he actually realises what he should have done, it's far too late.
Mm-hmm.
And then he cartwheels into the ropes, and he gets caught into the ropes.
Yeah. It's not good.
It's not how you want to start your first 2 minutes.
No, it certainly isn't.
Promotion.
It certainly isn't.
It's not, which is a shame because he's so good and he's so smooth.
He's fantastic. Watching a Progress show a couple of weeks ago with him and Mark Andrews, that was a great match.
Yeah.
Everything he does looks very, like you said, smooth. He's a very natural looking dude. Just that was so awkward.
Yeah,
so awkward.
And he needs to be smooth because otherwise that finisher can kill a man.
Yeah, his finisher is terrifying. Whatever that's called, a JML
driver.
Yeah,
JML does all those kitchen
yes, they
utensils
do.
On telly,
giant mops and things like that.
JML driver, $39.99 in 3 instalments.
But this was, it's tricky, isn't it? Because it's people will say that kind of flippy stuff, the kind of stuff that Ricochet and Will Ospreay get stick for.
Yeah.
You know, it's exposing the business brother and all the rest of it. And when you see things like that, it does look terrible.
It does.
It makes everything look very, very fake.
It also just made me think, why the hell didn't they edit that out?
Well, yeah, it's not like they've had 2 months or whatever it is. You can get rid of that.
Yeah.
It's totally fine.
Yeah, it's a 5-second segment. Just edit that out. No one will know.
Maybe because Big Dave Meltzer was in the front row, wasn't he? And it was right in front of him. So maybe I thought everyone's going to be reading the newsletters.
well,
reading the dirt sheets.
Maybe you put it in the newsletter. Maybe that's what it was then. Because maybe they don't subscribe to.
Maybe. And then we had, after that match, the Best Friends, which is a team of Chuck Taylor and Trent, versus the leaders of the new school, Marty Scurll, and PWG champion, Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah.
I thought this was absolutely fantastic.
Brilliant.
I loved everything about this match.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
From the leaders of the new school with their matching blue gear with the Union flag on the front of the tights.
Yeah.
Even though Marty Scurll was still the villain, still had his villain kick pads on and all the rest of it. This was just fantastic.
The way he was coercing Sabre into doing all the heelish villainous tactics.
Yes, having to convince him, but Sabre got stuck in.
Yeah, it was great.
And Chuck Taylor's selling is brilliant.
Yeah.
Trent as well was very, very good.
Yeah.
I would like to take issue with the commentary a little bit on this.
Okay.
At one point, Zack Sabre Jr., I think he stomps on Trent, or he stands on him, or he does something. And the commentator says it's Zack on Trent. And he said that might actually be a place in the West Midlands. It isn't a place in the West Midlands. There is no such thing as Zack on Trent.
I did enjoy that part.
You're getting name dropped a lot on these indie shows at the minute in the West Midlands.
There's nothing negative on this.
That's true. Damn you, Nigel McGuinness. Yeah. This was fantastic. It went quite a long time, 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And who got the win? Trent got the win, didn't he? Trent pinned Zack Sabre Jr.
Trent pinned Zack when Marty and Chuck went fighting behind the curtain backstage.
Yes, fought in the back. Leading to 2 singles matches. Like you said, this is the only thing really on the show that felt like storyline progression, didn't it? And you can build to those 2 single matches, which I think could be really, really good.
Yeah, well, you'd expect so, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
All 4 of them are great workers. Trent, even better without Caelan Croft.
Do you think?
Oh, I think so.
You don't miss the old dude busting days?
Well, I do, but I think he's fine.
He's come on a long way since the old dude busting days, hasn't he?
Yes, a little bit.
This was fantastic, and the look of anguish on Chuck Taylor's face when he was selling was great. Yeah. The crowd were massively into it, massively into the baby faces, which is always good to see. Zack Sabre Jr. looks like he's hit the gym a little bit more, which is nice to see, because he desperately needed to.
Yeah.
Because again, he just came across as being a very, very thin dude. He's still got room to go. Like, he can still kind of tone up a little bit
when he grows up.
Yeah, when he grows up. But I thought it was great. We had cradle pole drivers, all sorts. It was great.
Yeah,
this was fantastic stuff. This is something that I would go out of my way to watch, even if I wasn't watching the rest of this show.
It was one of the best tag team matches I've seen in a long, long time.
And then post-match, Marty Scurll runs back out and attacks Chuck and Trent, hits them both with low blows, throws a load of chairs into the ring. Again, at this point he had to convince Zack to attack
slap him around the face.
And then Marty challenged Chuck to a match, which Chuck accepted as long as it was going to be a street fight. So that should be very good fun, or I imagine already has been very good fun.
Yeah.
And Trent and Zack is coming for the belt at some point as well.
Yeah.
Which again I'm sure will be very, very good.
I think so. I think it'd be hard going for them to put on a bad match, to be honest.
I think so. In amongst all of the craziness, all of Zack's transitions, all of his submission stuff, everything looks so good.
It does. He's so smooth. He really is.
He's brilliant, isn't he?
Yeah. And he looks like really, really hurt those moves as well.
Yes.
Really would hurt.
But it's again in a show with lots of flying around and lots of wackiness.
Yeah.
It's cool to see some proper actual wrestling.
Yeah, yeah.
Some chain wrestling spots and all the rest of it. Great. Really, really enjoyed that. Which leads us to the main event, the PWG Tag Team Championships with the Young Bucks versus Phoenix and Pentagon L0M and Matt Sydal and Ricochet. Yeah. What did you think to this? I'll be intrigued to see what you thought of this.
It was enjoyable. It was a little bit too wacky in parts for me. I think this is the perfect example of playing to your crowd and knowing what you can get away with your live crowd.
Mm-hmm.
The comedy sections went on a little bit too long for my liking.
Yes.
The sections where they was stealing each other's gimmicks. So Pentagon and Phoenix were doing the suck it, and then the Bucks were doing the
Sierra and Miedo. Yeah. Over and over and over again.
Yeah, and 2 or 3 times it was quite funny, and then it just went on forever and ever, and it never got to the stage where it went on so long that it made it funny again. It was just going on so long.
Yes.
And then Ricochet and Seidel come in with the masks. They had both gimmicks, didn't they? They had the lucha masks and they had the jackets of the Bucks.
Yeah, which
Seidel couldn't get a mask over his big head.
No. Everybody did the masks and the jackets thing, didn't they? And I enjoyed that element of it. That was good. I could have done without the constant repeating of the catchphrases of one another. But again, this is what you're going to get with the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
What they do, they're really, really good at. And all 6 dudes in this were fantastic.
Fabulous. The actual wrestling was fabulous on there, yeah. Ricochet doing... Was it a moonsault where he actually hit the light fitting?
I think it was, yes.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, really, really good.
We had a not a superstar, a shooting star press version of the Meltzer Driver from Ricochet and Matt Sydal in front of Big Dave. We had the segment when the Bucks went for the Meltzer Driver and everybody turned to Dave in the front row. Dave looking quite huge in his yellow t-shirt again. Yeah,
I don't think he looked quite as big as he did at Bowler last year, but I don't know. Maybe he's not been hitting the weights during the Raw commercial so much.
No, probably working on the abs, isn't he? Got to have those Johnny Mundo abs.
Yes, possibly.
Yeah, lots of stuff going on. It was very good. This was during the time where the Bucks were losing all their belts. When they lost the New Japan belts, they lost the ROH belts. And they also lost these PWG tag team belts here to the team of Phoenix and Pentagon. It was really, really good. I'm same with you. A bit too wacky in places.
Yeah.
But that's what you're going to get from the Bucks.
Yeah. Because they got to a point where they are that over, they know they can get away with it. And that's what it is. Fair enough.
Yeah, absolutely. The crowd react like they are megastars.
Yeah.
They make a lot of money out of doing it, so good for them.
Well, that's it. By this point in their careers, anybody who has watched them aren't really going to change their opinion of them.
Nope.
You either enjoy watching them and take them for what they are, warts and all, or no, I'll skip this one, thank you very much.
The only thing that I find troubling about it, though, with the Young Bucks is that they don't need to do all of the wackiness, because what they are fantastic.
Yeah.
The high flying stuff that they do is great. Everything about them is really, really good. Sometimes you just think, could you stop dicking about and just do some wrestling?
I think a lot of that, though, is to do with the PWG crowd.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every PWG show is the same building, the same crowd.
They've seen everything before, haven't they?
Yeah, so they just do it to, just for the pop. Yeah. If that match happened in Ring of Honor, then it wouldn't be the same.
No, it wouldn't, and same as it wouldn't be the same in New Japan. They're facing Roppongi Vice for the Junior Tag Team Championships at the Dominion show, which we'll be reviewing next week. And you're not going to get this match there, are you?
No, not at all.
But this was good. I really enjoyed it. I thought the show overall was really good fun and a good change of pace from like the 9-hour WWE pay-per-views that we've been watching of late.
Yeah,
good stuff. I would recommend it.
Yeah, very, very much so. Yeah, very enjoyable.
Which brings us to the last part of our show for this week, which is rounding up the best of the Super Juniors, the finals. If you don't know, Kushida won, beat Will Ospreay in the Best of the Super Junior final. You correctly predicted who would be in the finals for this, didn't you?
I predicted the finalists. I didn't predict the winner correctly. But.
No, after the promo that Will cut after he won against Takahashi, when he promised that he would repeat and be a 2-time consecutive champion. Obviously, things work a bit differently in Japan.
They do, yeah. Well, he cut virtually the same promo in the first match against Ricochet as well.
But he promised to be at the finals in that promo. But in this one, he promised to win. He said that he would win.
Yeah. He's a liar.
He is a liar, isn't he? Those bloody Swords of Essex and all that. But the final match, obviously the match with Takahashi was really, really good.
Yeah.
On the same show, Marty Scurll and Ricochet was fantastic. I think I preferred that out of the two. I don't know what your thoughts were on that one.
I preferred the Ospreay and Takahashi.
It was a coin toss for me.
Yeah, but they're both very good. The Liger match with Taichi, I think, was my favourite.
I was watching that match, getting so annoyed. Obviously, as documented previously, the Suzuki Gun stuff. It's just got to go. It's got to go. It's got to go. It drove me crazy in the whole tournament. That was the worst element of the whole thing for me. Lots of chicanery and outside interference. Suzuki Gun beat up Liger, cut his mask, ripped his bodysuit, all the rest of it, beating him down, and then he got saved. But he beat Taichi, so he actually won a match.
It was great. You had Kushida and Taguchi coming out to save him and save the day, and that win as well stopped Taichi from possibly going through to the finals. So.
Yeah, I guess. And you got Liger to win his last match.
Victory,
yeah. But
and the crowd went mad for it.
They did, but the crowd go mad for everything with Liger, don't they?
Why wouldn't they?
And what wouldn't they? Because he's the best babyface in the world.
Yeah.
But I was sat there watching it thinking, where are Liger's friends? The crowd were chanting for Liger. The crowd were going crazy for Liger when he's getting beaten down 3-on-1. Nobody came to help. Not for a long time.
Yeah.
It's like Liger is this giant babyface. And as we saw at the end of the main event of the whole tournament, all the babyfaces are all friends. They all got in the ring to celebrate with Kushida. Yeah. So why didn't someone come and help him sooner? I don't like the outside interference stuff. I don't like Suzuki Gun. They can piss off, as far as I'm concerned. But we ended up with Kushida and Will Ospreay. 5-star match?
If you're going to give star ratings, it was a fabulous match. By far the best match of the tournament.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. You want to peak at the right time, don't you?
Yeah.
And they peaked at the right time.
I think this is the perfect example of Will Ospreay, why people get so frustrated when he has those matches like he does with Ricochet, when it's a kind of like a athletic competition rather
gymnastics, essentially,
rather than a match, because it can do things like this, and it's so good.
Yeah, both guys.
Match was brilliant.
They complemented each other really well, didn't they? Both of them working very, very hard. Yeah. We had a double injury work thing on Will Ospreay's left side, Kushida working over the left arm and the left knee.
Yeah.
It was a long match, wasn't it? It did go quite a long time.
It's nearly half an hour.
But it was worth every second of it.
Absolutely.
Although,
Will Ospreay needs to wash his mouth out with soap.
Yes, he does. Will Ospreay needs
bugger.
to stop screaming all the time. That was getting on my nerves as the tournament went on. He didn't do it quite as much in the final.
No, he's very sweary.
He is very sweary, isn't he? But you can get away with it, can't you? And also, when you're on New Japan, where you have Taka Michinoku's music saying "Taka is coming, motherfuckers," I think you could probably do a bit of swearing.
Yeah.
Both of them, however, I could do without them kicking each other full on in the face. Those, I think is it the cheeky Nando kicks they call them?
Cheeky Nandos, it's when you get the guy in the turnbuckle and they tuck their head so they're kind of stuck, See,
because I didn't know what that was called,
cheeky
and I
Nandos.
read after the fact that people were referring to that as a cheeky Nando's. That's a terrible name for
it's
a start
awful.
off.
I don't think that's ever used in New Japan.
No, I hope not. I
don't know if they have Nando's in Japan.
I wouldn't have thought so. I didn't hear the English commentary for this. I know there was English commentary for this, but I listened to the Japanese commentary because they're ace. And there was one kick, the first kick, Will got him in the chest, absolutely fine. And then we had 4 or 5 kicks full on in the face.
Yeah.
I could have done without that.
Yeah.
Although, to be fair, it's probably a bit of a receipt because Kushida did exactly the same thing a few minutes earlier, stomping Will right in the face. I think that was where Ospreay's mouth was busted open, wasn't it?
Right at the beginning, wasn't it?
Yeah. I could have done without the kicking dudes in the face. I think there was a suplex or a pile driver or something right on the ring apron as well.
It was a Rana onto the apron.
Rana.
Yeah.
That looked brutal.
Horrible. Yeah.
But you're in New Japan, so you're going to get this stuff, aren't you, really? Both of them going for their big moves, lots of Canadian destroyers, the hoverboard lock, which Kushida went for.
The Oscutter into the flying armbar was fabulous.
That was great. Yeah. And then we had the finish, the Back to the Future off the top rope, and then another one on the mat.
Another one.
Like I said, it went a long time. Both guys beat the crap out of each other. They were both dead at the finish. Will Ospreay in tears. This was everything that pro wrestling should be. This was so great. Yeah. Winning and losing meant a huge amount to both of them. You could see Will was in pieces at the end, had to be helped away. The crowd were going crazy for him. They went crazy for Kushida. This was just brilliant.
Wonderful, wonderful match.
I know I gave 5-star rating. I know we're not doing 5-star ratings, but I gave one to the UK one.
Well, you're only rating things at 5 stars.
Yeah, that's all I'm rating.
If it's not a 5-star match, you're not giving it a rating.
I'm tempted to give Alexa and Bailey -5 stars, but I don't want to do that to Alexa. Okay. This was just absolutely fabulous, and the post match stuff as well
Yeah.
was great, almost as good as the match.
Yeah.
The post match, Kushida got his ROH title. He also got the Best of the Super Junior trophy. Called all the baby faces into the ring, thanked them all for the tournament, shook their hands. The confetti cannons go off, confetti's raining down. Kushida cuts a great promo to the crowd, thanking everybody. He gets them to do the Mexican wave, which I loved.
Yeah.
Liger came into the ring, he did the wave as well, and then Kushida went all around the arena, slapping hands with people, hugging people, kissing babies. This was the best.
Lies on the floor and gets everyone to cover him in confetti while he makes confetti angels.
Yes, and I think, did Dragon Lee pin him as well? Somebody pinned him.
I don't know.
Pinned him, counted his own pin, and tried to run off with the trophy. This was just the best thing ever. All the babyfaces are friends with each other. The babyface wins, and we have a great celebration. The crowd are all invested.
Can't beat a good tournament in wrestling.
Nope, you can't. We need more trophies.
Yeah.
This was fabulous.
Yeah.
If you don't have New Japan World for £10 or whatever the conversion rate is over here, like £7, £8, whatever it
Works
is,
out about that, yeah.
get it for this because it's worth it for your monthly fee. This was brilliant.
Yeah.
Kushida will now go on to Dominion.
Yep, against Takahashi.
Yes.
He'll try and regain the title that he lost at the Tokyo Dome.
Yes, we have lots of rematches, don't we, on the Dominion show, which we'll be covering next week. The big matches on that one, obviously, is Okada and Omega for the IWGP Championship.
Yep.
That should be great fun. We have the Intercontinental match, Tetsuya Naito versus Hiroshi Tanahashi, with possibly the end of the IC belt.
We'll see.
So they're talking about. I very much doubt that's going to happen. Never Openweight Championship, Minoru Suzuki against Haruki Goto in a lumberjack match. Junior Heavyweight Championship, Takahashi versus Kushida. That should be great. Michael Elgin versus Cody. That should be good fun.
I think so.
War Machine versus Guerrillas of Destiny.
That should be
I'm
great.
really excited about that. And we have the Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships, Roppongi Vice defending against the Young Bucks. That should be really good as well. And we have some kind of gauntlet match with the Never Six-Man Tag Team Championships. That should be excellent too.
Should be a lot of fun. 8 o'clock on Sunday morning UK time.
Yes, and it's only probably going to be about 5.5 hours long, isn't it? So, whether we get through all of the early matches with the young boys and all the rest of it, I very much doubt. But we'll be reviewing the main matches next week, won't we, on the show?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
And also beginning our new series.
We are. We're going to do a season
Of the Invasion era on Raw.
Yeah, it's something we talked about in the first episode, wasn't it? I think that's the time when I wasn't watching it at the time. I got out of wrestling around that time. Was you watching that?
I wasn't watching then, no. I was aware of what was going on, but I wasn't watching at that point. So we'll be starting next week with the last edition of Nitro and the consecutive Raw that was airing at the same time, which was the beginning of it all before WrestleMania. Yeah.
And then following that, it all started around May time.
Yes. So we'll be jumping into the sort of May kickoff. I think was it the King of the Ring show when Booker invaded during the main event? Something like that. Booker jumps into the ring.
Spoiler?
Yep, sorry everybody, spoiler alert. It's something like that anyway. So we'll be catching up on that, but we'll be beginning next week with the Nitro and Raw, which should be good fun.
I think I'm really looking forward to that.
Me too. So we'll be back next week at both these guys on Twitter and Instagram if anyone wants to keep up with what we're doing on there. So yeah, we will talk to you next week.
Thanks a lot. Bye.